Hello everyone. I have the latest market reports for you. You know, there's so many things going on out there. I'm doing these on a weekly basis now, but sometimes I feel I should be doing them on a daily basis. That's how quickly things are changing up there. But one of the themes I'm going to be talking about is, are we actually seeing a trend going upwards? And I'll get into that in a second. First, for fun, I want to remind you of something. Today is May the 12th. That's when I'm filming this report, and hopefully you can see this okay there. Do you remember exactly 1 year ago today when Kawhi Leonard did that shot that was seen around the world? You remember that? Man, wish we could be watching basketball right now, but that was a year ago. It almost seems like another world that we're in today. And it is another world. We have a whole new normal with this whole COVID health crisis thing going on. Before I get into the report, I got one other announcement I want to make. We're asking for everybody's help. We are doing a food drive for our local food banks. Anything you could donate would be really, really helpful. There's many families feeling pressure these days, and they're turning to their food banks, which in turn has put a ton of pressure on food banks. So what we're doing is we're passing by your neighborhood, and anyone who signs up to be on the pickup route, all you got to do is put non-perishable food items on your veranda. We will pass by, pick it up, contactless. We're not going to be knocking on your door. Just pick up. We're going to pick up what you left there for us. Go to teamsessafooddrive.ca to get onto the pickup route. It's going to be this Thursday, May the 14th, that we're doing the pickup. So please get on the route, and it'd be a big, big help. Okay, let's get started with the market report. Now, I'm going to start off with Vaughan. We're breaking them down on a weekly basis. The last week was Sunday, May 10th. Hope all you mothers had a phenomenal Mother's Day on this past Sunday, May the 10th. So, what are we seeing here? Well, if we're looking at week to week to week, prices are going to go up and down. I'm breaking it down week by week to show you what's going on, but we cannot live and die by what happens on a week to week basis. There are so many factors. And if we look at Vaughan, this is just for freehold properties. The fact that we're selling 12, 10, 11, 10, 14, we jumped up 1 week, well, you know, that's a great sign. But there's so many factors involved of why things happen, especially when sales are this slow. So can we look at that the last few weeks sales have been going up? Of course we can. We can take comfort in that. We can, oh wow, things are starting to revive there. Maybe, but we need a little bit more time to really feel good about that statement. Prices dropped a little bit, but that's just on a week-to-week basis. Overall, since the beginning of March, prices have dropped 10.2%. If you're somebody that was looking to buy and you were waiting for prices to come down, just in a few weeks, they're down 10% since the beginning of March. I suggest you give it some serious thought about buying. Unless you think they're going way down, then now could be a time where you can really start thinking about buying. But middle of April, around here sometime, is when maybe we've seen the lowest prices that we're going to see. I'm just saying, just maybe. And sales-wise was also the lowest around here. But it's really hard to look at Vaughan as the barometer because sales are not, activity is not that high. But let's look at it. When we compare Vaughan Freehold to last year, we're only down 2%. So if you're thinking of selling and you feel prices are probably going to come down, I'm not saying they are, but I'm going by what the public is thinking, now might be a good time to get onto the market because you're very close to where prices were last year. If we look getting back to freehold sales, hey, you know what? The last few weeks, we've gone up in Vaughan in sales. Still less than what they were last year, but we're half. New listings, we dropped a little bit. Could that be because of the weather? Could that be because people don't want to come onto the market because they think prices are not there? Could that be? There's so many reasons out there. When there's so few listings and sales going on, it's really hard to tell you what's really going on. And it's really hard to predict public attitude. Let's take a look at Toronto. This is for freehold only. Well, prices actually 1 week to the next went up. When we compare to where we were at the beginning of March, prices dropped down. We're lower by about 19%. Now that's a huge difference from the beginning of March to now middle of May basically. But sales have been creeping up. And I can tell you for a fact, when I looked into the actual sales figures, it's the properties $2 million or more, or the higher end properties that are really feeling the crunch as far as price drop. The properties that are 1 million, 900, 1.2 million, many of those are having multiple offers still. Compared to last year, the average sold price is down a little over 7%. So it's not a train smash, and the same thing applies. If you're thinking of buying, well, we are way down from March price. And I don't know of too many situations where just in a few weeks, prices have come down. But if you really look at the trend, have we maybe hit the low point already? And since then, have we started the trend going upwards? If they have, those of you looking to buy, you might have missed the low already. But your attitude is going to determine what makes sense to you and what's not. Now, I'm not telling you any of these numbers based on what I want to happen. I'm telling you, here's what I do. I look at the data often. I look at it early so I could properly advise my clients. If I wasn't doing this video, I'd be preparing this data anyways, and I was preparing this data long before I started doing videos to share this information, because I need to know what is going on to properly advise my clients. Sales, they've been, although slightly, they've been trending upwards. Way less than last year, but trending upwards. And about 40% of those sales, 46 of those, about 40% sold at list price or more. New listings for Toronto Freehold, check this out. New listings have been increasing, so more and more people are putting their house on the market. Actually, if you've been out at all, shopping, maybe some of you are going to work, if you've been out at all, you're seeing more traffic on the roads. And now with the weather, today's a beautiful day. Now with the weather, hopefully getting warmer, because we've had crazy cold weather right now. But with the weather getting warmer, are we going to see more real estate activity? I'm guessing yes. That's my opinion. We're seeing more traffic on the road. We're seeing more things going on out there. And they're starting to talk about easing the restrictions, and some places have already eased restrictions. You know, I'm thinking things are we've maybe already hit the low here mid-April as far as activity low and price low, and it looks like we could be trending upwards. Taking a look at Vaughan Condos, I'm not going to say very much here. There was only 3 sales. That's kind of what it's been. You know, you could look at the numbers, but it's really hard to base anything just on 3 sales. Looking at Toronto condos, well, we had here mid-April as kind of the low as far as average price, and they've been trending upwards since then. We've had mid-April as far as the low of activity, and we've been trending upward since then. Is this a sign? We need a few more weeks, maybe a few more months to properly predict that, but things have been going up. Compared to last year, we're basically sitting at where we were price-wise, and we are just a few percentage points, about 4% lower than we were at the peak at the beginning of March. Here, sales compared to last year were way off the mark from last year. However, like I said, we've been going up in sales slightly, and new listings for condos in Toronto, new listings have made a huge jump. There's a lot of investors in the condo market. Are they divesting? Are they looking to get out of the condo business? Or is it much easier to maybe a condo that was rented that's sitting empty to put it on the market? I'm not sure. There's so many factors out there, and I keep saying that. I'll tell you what's not being talked about is public sentiment. There are so many analysts out there comparing where the market's going to be, what's happening, analyzing because of this, because of that. Even you hear me talking, I keep it really simple. I talk about basically supply and demand. What nobody can really predict or put their finger on is what is the buyer and the seller thinking, their attitude. There's many sellers out there right now that have their home listed. They're not budging from the price. That's the price they want. And there are buyers waiting for the price to drop. Now, at some point, like, who's going to win? Are buyers eventually, because they need that house, going to pay that price? Are sellers eventually going to come down? Well, it's an individual basis, but collectively, what the public is feeling, their attitude is going to determine which way they go. But right now, got to tell you, activity, sales, listings, we're way off the mark than we were last year. Prices, not so much. We are off the mark from where we were at the beginning of the year. As early as March, we're way lower than then, but not so much when you compare our prices last year. So basically, the gains from last year, there are none. We've chewed up those gains. It could be a good opportunity to get on the market. It could be a good opportunity to buy. I want to talk about one last slide here. I want to talk about months of inventory. Most people, I got to tell you, are not calculating this properly. They're taking new listings divided by how many properties were sold in the previous week or the previous month, and they're coming up with, well, that's how many months of inventory we have left. That's not the right calculation. Basically, we've got to look at how many have we sold in this previous month or the previous week. It works out the same way. And based on that, at this particular moment in time, how many properties are available for sale? So not just new listings, because some get listed and sold right away. So those are not on the market anymore. So at a particular moment in time, how many properties are available for sale? So it's not necessarily new listings only. It could be properties that were listed 3 months ago and haven't sold yet. So we call that active listings. How many properties are available for sale? Active listings divided by the rate that we're buying, divided by sales over the previous month. Well, let me give you some numbers. When we look at April last year, we had 2 months of inventory. Now keep in mind, between under 4 months of inventory is a seller's market. Between 4 to 6 months is a balanced market. If we've got more than 6 months of inventory, that's a buyer's market. And people throw those words around, but this is the breakdown of what buyers, sellers, balanced market really means. In a seller's market, prices tend to be trending upwards. In a balanced market, just like it says, they say the same. In a buyer's market, prices tend to be trending down. Those are characteristics of those particular markets. Well, April last year, we were a very solid seller's market. March 1st this year, right now, just a few weeks ago, March 1st, before they announced the lockdown, we were in the market was, we were set to break records this year. We are way up ahead of last year, price-wise, sales-wise. Everything was looking sunny days ahead. Well, we're at 1.2 months of inventory. So properties are selling fast, lots of multiple offers. There was a lot going on. Well, right now, when we look at April, the last full month that we had, and it's a full month under this health crisis, we're sitting at 3.6 months of inventory. We are so close to being in a balanced market range, and I didn't look back, but I've got to go back several years before I see another time that we had months of inventory that high. So this is the reality of what's going on with months of inventory. Many of you have been asking me, and I've been telling you on a per person basis, but overall, and this is for all of TREB, the whole general GTA, all the properties sold and listed on the Toronto Real Estate Board. This is what the months of inventory are telling us. So when we see this, we see a lull in prices. We see if they go up, they're not expected to shoot up unless we're down to that level, months of inventory. So we're still sitting in a very decent market. Months of inventory does not calculate activity. Activity is down. Activity is way lower. If this was to be the new norm forever, activity was to stay like this, most realtors could not be in business. Most, I mean 70% of the realtors cannot be in business. That's not necessarily where we expect it to be, but prices, because a lot of people have prices on their mind, they're kind of sort of creeping up, and so is activity. That's my market report this week. Remember, as a reminder, please, this Thursday, May the 14th, we're doing a food drive. You can get onto the pickup route at teamsessafooddrive.ca. If you like what I have to say, you want to be reminded when I put out these reports, subscribe below, click the bell, that way you get reminded. Pass this on to anybody that could benefit from this information. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day and be safe.